Now, first, we need to establish what is trauma. And now this is according to the APA, which is the American Psychological Society, the defining board of psychology and psychiatry, who says that trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event, like an accident, crime, natural disaster, or experiencing or witnessing violence or war. Trauma is best characterized as a catastrophic stressor that is outside the range of normal human experience. Trauma is not something a healthy, normal person can reasonably expect to cope with in their life. So in contrast to the definition of trauma, Gabor Mate's perspective suggests that the emotional wounds of trauma are not just the result of specific traumatic events, but are also come from a lack of emotional support, safety, and the ability to have needs met, particularly during the formative years of childhood. Here's the traumatic problem with Gabor Mate's definition of trauma that has become pervasive in our modern culture and therapeutic world. This definition gives any therapist or individual permission to customize and tailor their life circumstances to fit into his definition of traumatic. Based upon his definition, every human can reasonably assume that their life experiences have been traumatic. Gabor Mate is making the human experience a diagnosable condition, that we are all wounded and have been deprived. That is the definition of dark. Gabor Mate believes that our life is predetermined based on our childhood. He paints a picture of hopelessness and destitute for mankind. Trauma is the trap, and he is dooming mankind. Now, the truth is, the human experience is a continuum of hurt and pain and loss. And every human has the inherent capacity to be resilient, the ability to be adaptive to life stressors and challenges, and bounce back, and reasonably cope with these normal and common human experiences in a healthy way, if given the choice. This is the reality of life. But what is the choice that we need to be given to escape the diabolical trap of trauma? The choice is to know that we have a choice to live in camp victim and live in the illusion of a reality that makes us powerless to past circumstances and events, or to live in camp take responsibility, where our lives are created by our choices and decisions, and that our past has no power over these choices and decisions we are free to make as grown-up adults. Now let's talk more about camp victim and trauma and why it is so dark and dangerous. Trauma lives in camp victim. Gabor Mate is the cult leader of camp victim. Let me define what camp victim is. Camp victim is a matrix that fosters the belief that we are victims to the circumstances of our life, that it is our environment, our upbringing, and family of origin that determines our behaviors and future life experiences. In camp victim, we are prisoners of our past, powerless to the events and circumstances of our life. Trauma lives in Camp Victim because trauma is inescapable, a consequence outside of our control. All chronic illnesses are born in Camp Victim. Unhealthy people have trauma in their lives and live wounded from the past. They are powerless. Healthy people are resilient and learn and grow from the challenges of life. They are empowered. Let's revisit Gabor Mate's rise to fame based upon his connection between trauma and disease. The dark and dangerous message of Gabor Mate is that he is teaching people how to create illness and disease by characterizing their normal and common life experiences as traumatic. As I previously shared, trauma is deeply entrenched in Camp Victim, which is the breeding ground of all illness and disease. Unhealthy people live their lives through the lens of trauma. Healthy people live their lives through the lens of resilience, the ability to be adaptive to life's stressors and challenges, and bounce back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. If you have an autoimmune disease or chronic illness, are frustrated with food diets, supplements, and medication, and are ready to permanently heal and no longer have your condition, I have two 13-week online self-guided educational programs, the Autoimmune Healing Program and the Chronic Illness Healing Program. Both programs teach you how to go beyond remission to permanently heal your chronic illness or autoimmune disease, leave behind your doctor's visits and symptom management, and to finally heal without supplements, medication, or food diets. This is the same journey I took and why I'm over 10 years completely healthy. My autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses are permanently healed. You can find the application link for a complimentary course consultation below in the description of this video. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.